Good day, I am Noel G. Valenzuela.
I am Clayton Dave N. Malabuyok.
I am Adrian C. Malabrigo.
We are the researchers from Santa Clara National High School.
National High School. Our research title is Usability of Software Electronic Checking Solution of Test Papers and Item Analysis for Teachers. Checking of test papers in a quarterly examination and item analysis which follows after the checking are two of the most laborious tasks among teachers both in public and private school in the Philippines. Particularly in a situation that the world is in the midst of pandemic situation. The traditional checking of test papers, even in the absence of pandemic, teachers were more stressful because you also have to prepare the item analysis to ensure the proper assessment of the students. Teachers' task of checking test papers is a traditional facet that gives arduous charge among teachers. But this software will be manageable among teachers because they will be just encode the learner's name and answers. For the rationale, item analysis is a process which examines students' responses to individual test items in order to assess the quality of those items and of the test. Item analysis is especially valuable in improving items which will be used again in later tests. But it can also be used to eliminate ambiguous or misleading items in a single test administration. In addition, item analysis is valuable for increasing teacher skills in test construction and identifying specific areas of course, content which need greater emphasis or clarity. This is manageable among teachers because they will just encode the learner's name and answers. When everything is encoded, students score with automated mean, standard deviation or SD, mean percentage score or MPS will automatically generated by the software. Consequently, the necessary records obliged to be prepared will be accomplished instantaneously. Although because of COVID-19 pandemic, we are not being required to submit item analysis. Somehow, it is useful once the situation will turn into place. However, due to huge numbers of worksheets we are checking in this severe situation, we believe that this is perfect to easily check the students' output. The software is divided into 4 sheets. The first sheet comprises the student's name and the school. This is where all the names of the students will be listed with maximum of 6 sections. The second sheet will be the answer of the students in the test paper to be encoded. The third sheet is the correct answers or the key to corrections of the examination. Finally, will be the item analysis, which will be displayed all the process result of the examination. However, the software will be limited only in checking the accuracy of objective type of examinations, like multiple choice, matching type, identification, completion type, and true or false. Subjective type of examination like essay and enumeration will be excluded in the use of the software. The main purpose of this research is to determine the usability of software electronic checking solution of test papers and item analysis to eliminate the laborious tasks of the teachers in Santa Clara Integrated National High School. The action research will also examine the possible problem to be encountered. However, for its actualization, the following questions were suggested. First, how is the software checking solution beneficial in the following terms? accuracy of the results, and time consumption. Second, what are the difficulties to be encountered in the use of the software in the following aspects? Teachers' digital adaptability, type of exam, and flexibility to teachers' schedule. And finally, what is a good alternative in managing the software as future reference of the teachers? For the research methods, under participants or other resources of data, the participants were the 41 faculty members of Santa Clara Integrated National High School, and their involvement in the study justified the usefulness of the software among them. In the knowledge that they suffer in checking voluminous volume of worksheets every 2 weeks because of the restriction of face-to-face meeting in school. These are the listed number of informants by the subject area. Data gathering methods. The research utilized descriptive research method, wherein it described the characteristics of the usage and feature of the software designed by the researchers. Researchers also presented its general feature that made the software useful in spite of its limitation in subjective types of examination. The research used stratified random sampling, and they have selected 41 members of the faculty in Santa Clara Integrated National High School to test the ability and accuracy of the software made. The respondents have chosen, and the researchers have used survey questionnaires through Google Form to come up with the findings of the study. They have used set of indicators based on the given variables in the statement of the problems. The result come up with the use of the Likert scale and verbal interpretation listed. In Figure 1, presents a grand weighted mean of 3.50 with the verbal interpretation moderately utilized. Based on the Likert scale 2.51, 3.50 is moderately utilized. It has been justified that the usability of software electronic checking solution is effective according to the accuracy of the results. Based on the listed indicators, numbers 2 and 4 are moderately utilized by teachers to acquire the objectives with a weighted mean of 3.49, 3.49, and 3.22 in that order. And number 1 is highly utilized with a weighted mean of 3.61, while number 5 is having the same verbal interpretation, highly utilized with weighted mean of 3.71. Figure 2 presents the grand weighted mean of 3.51 with a verbal interpretation highly utilized based on the Likert scale 3.51, 450 is highly utilized. It has been justified that usability of software electronic checking solution is highly recommendable for teachers' use according to the time consumption results. Based on the listed indicators, numbers 2 and 3 are highly utilized by teachers to attain the objectives with weighted mean of 3.59 and 3.66 respectively. And number 1 is moderately utilized with weighted mean 3.41, while number 4 is having the same verbal interpretation, highly utilized with weighted mean 3.51, same with number 5 with weighted mean 3.37. Figure 3 displays the grand weighted mean of 3.52 with verbal interpretation highly utilized based on the Likert scale 3.51, 450 is highly utilized. The visibility of the result ensures that usability of software electronic checking solution is adapted for teachers' use. According to the result in teachers' digital adaptability, based on the high listed indicators, numbers 1, 4, and 5 are highly utilized by teachers to attain the objectives with weighted mean of 3.54, 3.61, and 3.56 respectively. And number 2 is moderately utilized with weighted mean of 3.41, while number 3 having the same verbal interpretation, moderately utilized, and weighted mean 3.46. This figure 4 demonstrates the grand weighted mean of 3.11 with a verbal interpretation moderately utilized based on the Likert scale 3.51 and 4.50 is moderately utilized. The profile of the result guarantees that usability of software electronic checking solution is flexible for teachers used according to the result in flexibility to teacher schedule. All three listed indicators are verbal interpretation of moderately utilized by teachers to attain the objectives with weighted mean of 3.27, 3.02, and 3.302 respectively. The figure 5 exhibits the grand weighted mean of 3.33 with the verbal interpretation moderately utilized based on the Likert scale 3.51, 4.50 is moderately utilized. The profile of the result confirms that usability of software electronic checking solution is useful for teachers' use according to the result in types of exam. Based on all listed indicators, all got a moderately utilized verbal interpretation with weighted mean of 3.22, 3.27, and 3.39 respectively.
For the implication, this software can be used by teachers during these challenging times of COVID-19 pandemic to eradicate their stress or burnout in checking voluminous number of worksheets. Also useful when things turn into place in the absence of COVID-19.
Once again, we are the researchers from Santa Clara Integrated National High School. Thank you.